You're listening to Top 4, a new series presented by the GamePitch podcast.
Join hosts Brandon and Eli as they build gaming Mount Rushmores every week.
Enjoy topics that range from the best multiplayer types to the top bug Pokemon.
Catch fresh episodes of Top 4 every Wednesday on the Project Nerd Network.
And don't miss new episodes of the GamePitch podcast, dropping every Monday morning.
Let's get ready to rank.
Hello and welcome to the Top 4 and More podcast, brought to you by GamePitch on the Project Nerd Gaming Network. I'm here with my good pal Brandon. Brando, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good.
It's a party in here. It's a party for a specific reason.
A very specific reason. But yeah. Why, Elijah, enlighten us.
You know, if you've never listened to Top 4 and More before, what we do is we do gaming Mount Rushmores of different gaming topics. So Brandon picks sometimes, I pick sometimes. The thing I picked this time was our top 4 party games, our favorite party games.
Yeah.
So I feel like I made a lot of my friends through party games when it wasn't Xbox Live. I think party games is some of the best, not always drunk, but drunk times that I've had outside of, just in the gaming community.
I'll say that for sure, party games are my best drunk times. Like, man, I tell you what, like, I didn't know what to do when I went out and drank for like the first time. I was like, there's no video games here. What? So yeah, no, I feel that for sure.
Gotcha. So you're just like in the club, just standing there, just like, I guess I just stand here and drink and wait for there to be ladies everywhere. Yeah, dude, you know, I feel you. When it's video games, you're like, oh, I'm playing Mario Kart and I'm trying to win, but I'm so drunk, but then you get mad. And then, so yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
It's just one of those feelings, man. So the main reason I picked it is just like, party games, they don't get enough of a rap, and, because we're all, in isolation and kind of like supposed to be locked down. It's something you can do inside your home with a small group of friends rather than going out to that sporting event or that concert or whatever it is that you are thinking about going out to. Be safe, maybe. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. And I'm staying inside playing these party games.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you kind of talked about it, but I mean, is there anything else that party games mean to you? I mean, for me personally, some of my favorite memories have been with my best friends playing party games.
I agree. That is some of my favorite memories by far, and I think you'll see by the list that I have here that it kind of reflects that in a big way.
With that being said, shall we start with some honorables/dishonorable mentions?
Oh, you have a dishonorable mention. See, I don't, but Brandon, you go ahead. You tell me your honorables and dishonorables.
Okay.
I want to hear it.
All right. So my first honorable mention is Sonic Shuffle.
Oh, okay.
And that's an honorable mention because I didn't know that was a thing that existed until I was doing my research for this list. And I just really like it when Sonic does something that Mario does, but like way worse.
Like the racing game.
Yeah, exactly. It's just man, I've never actually played that game, but it does not look good and it has very bad reviews.
Yep. What else you got for honorables?
The mini games and Mario Party, and my dishonorable mention is the rest of Mario Party, because if I wanted to play a board game, I would play a board game.
For me, you're gonna find something. I'm gonna tell you up front here, because as always, we don't really talk about the rules, but I limited myself to one Nintendo game, because we talk about a lot of Nintendo games on this podcast, but also just like I felt like it was kind of unfair. But you live your life, Brandon. You do your list however you feel like you need to. But I tried my best to not include a ton of Mario games and Nintendo stuff specifically.
Cool.
But I do want to give a shout out to the multiplayer games on Pokemon Stadium 2, because they were fire. Like every single one of those multiplayer, like the Delibird presents, like stuffing thing on 64. Like I love it. The Pokemon Stadium mini games are solid. Jackbox games is pretty cool. I put Duck Game on here as an honorable mention, Gang Beasts, and then also Climb Your Friends, because those are all games. And I think a little part of this is like, if you've never played any of those, let me make an appeal to you real quick. Climb Your Friends is basically like you're these like muscle men with these swinging jocks strap dongs, and you just like make a mountain of men that are like on top of each other and they're balancing, which is hilarious. Gang Beasts is kind of like Smash Bros, but shitty, but fun in a good way. And then Duck Game is just, well, you should tell people what Duck Game's like, Brando.
Duck Game is chaotic. Everybody plays as ducks, and you're all just trying to murder each other. It's I'm going to reference another game that people might not know, but it reminds me a lot of Towerfall Ascension.
Yeah, that like you're making me be like, oh, and then I'll bring up Power Stone so we can keep confusing the audience. Yeah.
Obscure. Yeah, Duck Game is great
Ugh.
though. There's a dedicated quack button, so that's the only thing that really matters.
Yeah, if you can't quack, then I don't want it. Yeah.
For sure. That's
I mean,
a pretty solid list of honorables there, buddy.
should we get to your numero 4?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's hop right in. My number 4 is actually one of your honorable mentions. It's Gang Beasts.
Hell yeah.
I get down on Gang Beasts, dude. I don't know what it is about that game. I think it's maybe just like the derpiness of it that really just resonates with me. But so if you've never played Gang Beasts before, like Elijah said, it's kind of like Smash Bros, but shitty but fun. So you're these I'll call them like puppets that you're all trying to knock each other out of the ring. And all of the rings are super different and super fun environments. There's like one where there's giant fans. There's one with a conveyor belt that throws you into like a wood chipper with like fire. I mean, it's a lot of variety in the levels. But yeah, you're all trying to just beat the crap out of each other, and it's a good time because of how derpy it is. There's like a grab button, there's a punch button, you can there's a raise your arm button so you can throw people. Of course, there was the good old strat that I loved a lot, which was climbing the walls and just waiting for my opportune moment to strike.
Well, see, that's one of the cool things about this game because you mentioned some of the levels. Like the gameplay is just as memorable as the levels, and like for me specifically, like the hanging scaffolding kind of ones on the skyscraper, I really liked. The one that was the two moving trucks, I thought was good. The
Mhm.
ice level was really fun. So, Gang Beasts, I couldn't recommend it more. It's basically like wrestling in a way because you're trying to ring people out in a Smash Bros way by throwing them off of levels, but there's a lot of different mechanics, kind of like you said, the climbing, the grabbing people, the throwing people, but the controls don't exactly work how you want them to
They
ever,
sure
which
don't.
is purposeful and makes the game more fun and chaotic, kind of as you mentioned.
Yeah. Like I said, very, very derpy. I'm glad that you brought up the. Well, first of all, I like that you brought up wrestling because there is a wrestling ring level, but also the truck level because actually that's the worst level in the game. Only because one of the big reasons why this game made it on my top 4 list is as many people may know, I've brought it up on the podcast multiple times and I'll continue to do so, but I went to the PlayStation experience back in 2017, and Gang Beast was on its way to consoles or had just made its way to the consoles at that point in time. And so they had a tournament there at the PlayStation experience that I almost won, but that damn truck level, I was climbing the side of the truck, and then like the trucks like squished together, and there was just no way for me to recover from that. And I'll forever be salty about it. But I do still have a really cool Gang Beasts like pro wrestling belt from it. So
That's pretty great, man. Yeah, so Gang Beasts, it's good. If you've never played it before, it's a 4-player. Wait, 4-player is the maximum, right? Or is there versions with more?
I think PC can handle up to 8, but console 4 for sure.
Yeah, I've only
Yeah.
ever played 4 myself, so you should check it out, people. Like a part of this is like if these are games, we're trying to give you suggestions with this one a little bit too, or at least I am.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, play if you haven't played Gang Beasts, play Gang Beasts.
All the worth.
All the worth. Elijah, let's hear your number 4.
My number 4 is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
That one almost made it to my list. Almost.
Yeah, so okay, so like I said, I think I kind of helped myself to put like not or just games that we don't talk about on this podcast specifically on this list here because that's a kind of a goal for me here. But if you've never played Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, it's a really great game to get non-gamers to play. It's in VR, and there are versions that don't have to be in VR, but I think VR is the best way. But essentially, there's a screen that basically someone has in front of them a briefcase, and this briefcase has a bomb in it. And there are various ways to disarm this bomb. And then the other people that are playing with you, they have these instruction manuals that are like paper, and you have to describe to them what you're seeing because if you play the game correctly, they can't. If you're in VR, they of course can't see what you're seeing. But then if you're playing like in a room together, you just like kind of like turn the TV, and then everyone else is like on the team diffuse, and they're like in a different room, or they're like somewhere else in the house, or like like facing the other way. But what's really cool about this game is like you can kind of add as many players as you want, and it's as simple as someone being able to look through a pamphlet and be like, oh, the star shape, okay, we got to cut this wire, or whatever it happens to be. But it's like one of the most innovative VR games ever. Like, I love it. How do you feel about it, Brando?
Yeah, definitely. So the first time I played that game, we actually played together. It was a very fun time, and I love it when a game can include, like you said, just pretty much as many people as you want. I think we were playing with a group of like probably like 7 people, but I love when a game can include a large number of people without having to have like controllers or I guess really just like equipment, right? And this game does
Yeah.
that spectacularly. Like everybody's involved. You don't have to be good at video games to play it. Like it's just a fun get together. Everybody's going to be trying to yell over each other. It's a fun time.
It's one of those things where like you can be passively playing and actively playing, but still a part of the experience. So like your whole friend group, like maybe one of your friends is kind of diddling around on his phone, but like they can hear something and try and help. So it's like one of those things where you can be actively and passively engaged, but like the party size can be as big or small as you want it to be, which I think is cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's very fun. Also, I remember specifically when I was the bomb diffuser. Man, oh man, that's pretty intense because you have like, again, I think it was like 6 people yelling at me trying to tell me instructions, and I'm just there like freaking out, like trying to make sure this bomb doesn't go off, and
Yeah, and then
it's
like the
very high
lights go
stakes.
off in the room,
Yeah,
and then there's like a beeper and alarm clock, and you're like, "There's a timer. What's going on?" Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's real good. All right, buddy, tell me your number 3.
So this one's kind of a lame pick, but it is Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8, I think, is just some of the most fun that I've had playing video games ever. It's such a quality party game. Mario Kart, obviously one of the greatest multiplayer games of all time. I believe it even made it onto my list of multiplayer games. But yeah, man, just a super quality game, and I love getting together with some friends and drinking heavily and playing some Mario Kart.
Look, dude, I would never hold this against you, especially not now, because if you look at the standings of Nintendo's sales records, and I was pulling it up here, Mario Odyssey is at 18 million units sold, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is at 28 million units sold. So this is by far the best-selling Nintendo franchise, and this isn't exclusive to Switch. This is across all their platforms ever in the history of all times. So, like, when you think about it, you think Nintendo, oh yeah, 3D Mario games and Zelda, but those things sell far worse than Mario Kart games. Even Pokemon, even combined, Sword and Shield is only at 20 mil. So Mario Kart is the king for a reason, and I can't refute anything you're saying. It's the best. Like, I think if I'm looking like objectively, it's probably the best party game in existence, but not my favorite. And that's what this list is.
Right, exactly, right. Yeah, we'll dig a little bit into that later with our later picks. But yeah, man, objectively, just a super fun time to get people together and trash talk and just be competitive, right? Super fun time.
The most fun time. My number 3 is not a very fun time, but I enjoy it a lot.
Oh, all right, let's hear it.
Another weird self-imposed rule is I only allowed myself one fighting game. So like one direct 1v1 kind of game. Because like if I'm picking my favorite party game, it's that one night I played Pokken Tournament on Wii U and I beat everyone, but I was super drunk and I never lost. And like only I remember it. And it's like it lost to the annals of time, but I remember. But that's not the thing I'm picking. My number 3 is actually Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube. So there was a lot of fighting games I considered, like your Smash Bros, Blaze Blue, I really like, Guilty Gear, Marvel vs. Capcom, all those kind of things. But I had to put a fighting game on here because I feel like party games, and I think maybe one that we've even played together, like something like Injustice, like those kind of things, like define friendships. Like you don't even have to really care about the game or like the setting or the story or whatever, but like you just want to try the different characters. Like I got way into Killer Instinct randomly because it was just like, hey, it's just a new fighting game, we want to try this out. So that all kind of started with me with Soul Calibur 2, and that's why it's on the list. I love Soul Calibur 2 a lot.
Who's your main?
I like Killick. I like Maxi, but Killick's bullshit because the stick.
Yeah.
Yoshimitsu's cool. I'm gonna go Nightmare. Like obviously, like everyone played as Link because Link is great, but Nightmare was my
Right.
guy. Like his stances, the way he swung the sword around, he just had so much like not freedom of movement, but like he had so many threats when you were coming at him with like you could even miss an input and still hit them on the backswing kind of thing. So like he was just really forgiving, and yeah, it's Nightmare. I love Nightmare. He's great.
Yeah, it was oh god, Nightmare was stupid in that game, especially because like so like you said, like Keelik, kind of bullshit because of the stick, right? But Nightmare had god, that sword is so big. He was able to counter the range. It was oh god, it's dumb. Yeah, Soul Calibur 2 is awesome, man. Link was my go-to in that game, because obviously he's my boy, and it's Ocarina of Time Link, which is my favorite Link. So, but yeah, no, dude. I love fighting games, and like you said, like just sitting down and being able to like try out all these new characters, right? There's a difference between like sitting down to play a fighting game online and trying to be competitive and like do the very best that you can and pull off these insane combos versus just picking a random character, or maybe even if there is a random option, picking that and just kind of seeing what happens.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just about maybe it was the first like real fighter that I was the right age to dig into and be interested in, because Mortal Kombat wasn't that for me. I was too young for it, I think. But with Soul
Yeah.
Calibur, like Voldo creeped me out. I really liked Cervantes. Like he was awesome. Like it just like in the game was like edgy but not overly violent or like bloody. So I don't know. I love Soul Calibur, man. Like it's just, even the Soul Calibur, like everything about that game is sick. Like I'm all in on Soul Calibur 2 specifically because 3 is bullshit because Yoda. Because f that was the worst.
I mean, 2 is objectively the best in my opinion, anyways.
Okay,
So,
okay, thank you. I feel seen. I feel supported. Thank you so much, Brandon. You want to
of
tell me
course,
your numero dos?
yeah, definitely. My number 2 is actually another one that made it onto your honorable mention list, and it's going to be the Jackbox Party Pack.
That shit's good. So
Yeah, man.
accessible.
And that's the thing. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I chose this one. Right. Again, anytime a game can include a great number of people without having to have like a ton of hardware. I mean, obviously, like you need a phone, but who doesn't have a smartphone these days? But anyways, anytime a game can do that and get more people involved without having to I guess it being too much of an investment for everybody involved is super cool, and Jackbox does it in such a cool way. I actually don't even know if there's like a limit to. I mean, I'm sure there's limits to how many people can play like specific games, but I don't know. I've played in pretty large groups before, and yeah, it's just really cool. Um, if I had to pick a favorite Jackbox, this was a series entry, but if I had to pick a favorite, it would be Jackbox Party Pack number 6, specifically because well, one, they kind of have like Among Us in that game, but like it was
Mm,
Among Us before Among Us was, I don't
Among
know if
Us.
it
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that was cool. That was a fun one. It has like the murder mystery party, which I was great at because it was just like stupid trivia and like puzzle games, and I love that. And then there's a couple of other mini games in there that I really liked. Oh yeah, number 6 had the joke boat. So I don't remember exactly the way it works, but essentially like you write half of a joke and then somebody writes the other half of a joke and then you have to go up and deliver it, and it's just a fun time.
That's a good one. I think Quiplash is the one I like the most.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I think
My
that's the one I like the most. But yeah, I'm trying to remember the names. I can remember like what you do, but not exactly the names. But yeah, Jackbox is great, man.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff. It's I mean, do you have any fond memories of playing Jackbox with the boys?
I do, but it's just like such a blur because it's like remembering a game of Monopoly. You know what I mean? It's like because you do so many things, you go through so many different activities, it rotates so much that it's not that it wasn't memorable. It's just enjoyable. It's just a baseline level of enjoyable the entire time. Like it's not gonna do anything that's like gonna knock my socks off, but it's also just a baseline level of good, which is sometimes just what you need in life.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, I think the other piece of that is like again, I said it doesn't require a whole lot of investment from everybody involved, both from like a hardware perspective, but also like an attention span perspective.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, you really don't have to. You're not. it's not insanely involved, I guess is what I'm getting at. So
Yeah.
it's a very casual game. They don't take long to play through, obviously, right? You could do one like 10-minute game and then you're done if you really wanted to. But yeah, Jackbox is great, super fun party game. Have to recommend number 6 and 5 if you haven't played those before. But Elijah, it's that time again. Let's hear that number 2.
Buddy, it's WarioWare Smooth Moves on the Nintendo Wii.
Oh, do tell.
So this WarioWare is one of my favorite franchises, just bar none. I love that series. But WarioWare Smooth Moves on the Wii is so ridiculous, and I don't remember laughing more with friends than with this game, because it was at the peak of Nintendo trying to convince you that you needed to do ridiculous stuff with the Wiimote. So a big part of the entire gameplay, and as long as you played along, you had more fun, was holding the Wiimote in the way that you needed to. So essentially, if you've never played WarioWare, it's a bunch of super quick mini games that you rapidly go through and gain points and stuff like that. And there was this team mode, but the cool thing with this one is that it was using the Wiimote, and you had to like put it on places on your body. So technically, you could just do the motion just in your hand, however you wanted,
Right.
but the purpose and the fun was when you did put the Wiimote up to your nose and then have to move things on apples into barrels as an elephant. So it's like the best of Mario Party, but just funnier, because you have to have like the Wiimote above your hip bone, making it look like a tail on you and having to wag and wiggle, or you put it at your hips and you have to like move a hula hoop up, or there's a fire hose that's attached to your forehead and it's your unicorn horn and you have to like spray things. It was just really fun to see people, because it was one of those games where you had to get up and move, and it was really fun. Like, especially as people started drinking, it became just a freaking sludge fest of chaos.
Yeah, cool. I've never played that myself, but I think it's we may have talked about this one before as well, but Wario is definitely Nintendo's like poster boy for super weird shit. Like anytime they want to do something really weird and they need like a reason to justify it, Wario is going to be that reason.
Yeah. What's crazy is like all these WarioWare characters, like they appear in Smash, but they never appear anywhere else. But like them being in existing means like the Mushroom Kingdom exists in that world, or they like it's so weird because like the dude has a Game Boy, so like Mario's from our world, but he's in the Mushroom Kingdom. It's like there's all this like weird canonical stuff that like WarioWare really messes with hard. Like,
He's the Deadpool of the Mushroom Kingdom universe.
yep, you hit the nail on the head, friend. That's exactly it.
I'll have to check that one out sometime if I can find somebody who still owns a Wii.
Well, Brandon, do you think you can reveal to me your next pick? Do we need a drum roll? Is this exciting? Like,
Oh no, dog! You already know what this pick is.
okay, I wonder if we have the same one. Go ahead.
The world knows what this pick. Well, no, we don't have the same pick. It's Smash Bros. It's Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay.
That.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Of course. I'm not gonna fight you on it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we can talk about Smash Bros. for hours on end. We could. I mean, I say we can't. We're going to talk about Smash Bros. For hours on end. Eventually, we'll do mini Smash Bros. Episodes. But yeah, man. I remember very vividly when Smash 4 came out on Wii U. I was invited over to your house with where you lived with your roommates, and they were doing like a super serious Smash tournament upstairs, and we were in the basement doing a very non-serious Smash tournament where we were all getting drunk, and we kind of rotated throughout. And I remember like I would go upstairs and just get my ass absolutely kicked. I would just get thrashed, and then I was like, all right, I'm going back downstairs. But then each time that I went back upstairs, I was a little bit better, and I was a little bit more chaotic. I just kept calling out who had the least number of stocks, and everybody hated it. I was that guy, but man, what a good time.
That's it's so you like to say that, or not that you like to say it, like that there were different rooms, or like they were more serious upstairs. I like to say we were more fun downstairs because we had items turned on, and that's the real way to play chaos.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, chaos.
Everyone's just like, oh, 1v1 one stock, the final destination. I'm just like, shut up. Leave me alone. If I could delete Final Destination and Battlefield from the game, I would. Everything on Pokemon floats, and freaking the big blue level with the freaking race cars. Let's go.
Yeah, let me get by the cars. Yeah.
Every
Couldn't
moving
agree more.
level, always Rainbow Road. Let's rock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool that the game has that kind of versatility, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can get together with multiple different groups of people and have different experiences every time. Smash Bros. Ultimate is, in my opinion, the ultimate party game.
You're not wrong, and it's got like 80 characters. There's someone for everyone in that game,
And
like
they just keep coming.
they just it's never ending. We're gonna get another one at the Game Awards. Mark my words.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. All right. Let's do we need a drum roll for yours? Because honestly, at this point, if you've already done a Nintendo game and you've already done a fighting game, I'm clueless over here. I have no idea what you're gonna pick for your number one.
Baby girl, we need a literal drum roll because it's Rock Band.
Ah, shit. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing, Randall?
Oh man, I remember that birthday party.
Man, Rock Band's the shiz. I love Rock Band. I've spent way too much. I've probably spent at least $250 on downloadable tracks. I bought the fog machine. I had the upgraded drum kit. We had the light machine for it. Like, Rock Band's the best. I can't describe something that's more enjoyable. Also, I mean, the thing is, like, when some of your friends who can't sing want to sing, it's not enjoyable. But then as you're drunk, you're just like, oh, I don't care. I'm just going to rock out. And me being who I am, I was trying to play as many instruments at once. So I got like a mic stand so I could sing while guitaring and then trying to do the drums with my feet. Like it's a whole mess. Like I love Rock Band, dude, way too much.
So you were a one-man band. I wish I could have seen footage of that.
Oh, it happened. I was able to do vocals and guitar on expert, and then I think drums on with my foot on medium, and then I had to just take a loss on all the foot pedal ones because I took the drum kit and I put the 4 pads on the floor so that I could hit them with my foot.
That's smart. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought to disassemble the drum set. I kind of just pictured you with your leg like flailing up in the air.
Just like strap the drumstick to my junk and then like no.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Nope. So it's Rock Band, and I really don't. I mean, as soon as I said it, I think people understand. Rock Band's great. Support Harmonix; they make great games. They just had Fuser come out, but if you want to play Fuser in like a board game form, it's called Drop Mix, and it's great. And it's like you mix songs that you wouldn't think mixed together, but it's fun. It's a card game. So yeah, I just love Harmonix. I ride for those guys.
So on the note of Rock Band here, while I was doing research for a different episode of Top 4 and More, I discovered that there is a very poorly made version of Rock Band or Guitar Hero. Essentially, it's just like I think it's called Rock of the Dead, and it's just a very, very poor, like weirdly like zombie knockoff version of Rock Bands.
That sounds terrible. I hate
Yeah,
it.
man, it's something. But anyways, yeah, Rock Band's great. Couldn't agree more. What a fun party game. Lots of good memories with that.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed this list and that you take some of these games that we may have mentioned and try them out for yourself because they are tons and tons and tons of fun. As always, we are brought to you by Project Nerd. Thanks to those guys for keeping the lights on here. You can follow me on the old Twitter there at Mario RPGino. Brandon is Mr. Snow 97. Brandon, take us out.
Thank you so much for listening to the Top 4 and More podcast. I am Brandon. That was Eli. And we'll see you here at the same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.